I think the first thing I'd do is, if you haven't done that already, is just like go to the SEC website, see what companies are coming. There are tons of companies in Read Arena whenever you go to the career fair. Mark the certain ones, the booths that you need to visit. First do that thing. Go on their websites, research them well, know what you're going to talk to them about, know the kind of positions they offer, know what each position entails. If you have taken the coursework which can satisfy that, or you're somewhere around in the ballpark, it's still worth the chance. And try to tell them that you can learn pretty well, and that's the area that you're interested in. But do your research. That's the first thing. Go there prepared, know what you're talking about. Get your resume sharpened up, make it look nice. Always have a cover letter prepared, even though you might not need it at that time. But in a couple of days, if they ask you to apply online, a lot of the companies will ask you for a cover letter, and that's usually not a good time to prepare one because you're always in a rush. It's middle of the week, you have homeworks and labs coming up. So the best thing you can do is pre-career fair, work on your resume, work on your cover letter, have a generic one already prepared, have one paragraph that you'll just leave company specific, and do make letters company specific. Never write one just for everybody. Make sure you have everything in your closet that you might need. Just a button-down shirt, slacks in India we say pants. I don't think you probably would have heard them, but just have your leather shoes, belt, tie, whatever you need. Do not suit up. It's hot and it's business casual. They do not expect you to wear a suit and everything. Just look nice. Have your just do your shave, and I don't know. I think that should be good.
So one thing that I probably regret not doing in my first career fair is like I came in fall 2007, and for most of the new students it's like it just happens, like you're a year, and within the first month itself you have the career fair. I did not prepare too much for the career fair. I went for just to shop for some stationeries, get some pencils, pens and material. Uh, but I really think that I could have done better because even though you're not looking for a full-time job, you're not looking for probably not for internships as well, but it is always nice to talk to recruiters and know what they are looking for a full-time job. I mean, some questions like, okay, if I had to have a full-time job in your company, what would you require, or what would this position require? Because when you're starting your masters or when you're starting your studies probably in grad school, you can then make your profile that way, so that when you are about to graduate, you have everything that they are looking for. So yeah, it's always, even if you're not looking for any opportunities right now, it's always a good idea to go and talk to them and know what they are looking for in a full-time employee, in an internship employee, or even otherwise. So yeah, that's one thing that I would probably change if I had to go back. Thank you.
Freshman year, as I said in my first response, do that. Just go explore, get the free goodies. As Amit said, I never did that and I missed on that. But yeah, just go out there, learn what's going on. Just get your resume started at least. You won't have a lot in there. Put your high school stuff, which you usually would, but you'll ultimately have to start taking it off. On a college resume, your high school stuff doesn't matter at all, what you have done in high school. So as the college progresses, you'll put more stuff in it. But as a sophomore and as a junior, I'd say your technical expertise is your best bet to get an internship or a job. I've been involved on campus, that helps. But I haven't ever been asked about my involvement on campus. All I've been asked about is what I've learned in my classes, what kind of projects I've done. Just put your projects on the resume, except instead of writing like ECN 314, I've taken this course, tell what kind of projects you have done. That will give them a good idea. Basically, on your resume, you need to have something to talk about. If you have something credible that you can talk about and that makes sense to them and applies to the job, you have better chances. And do research if you can over the summer. If you don't get an internship, work with a professor. If you have a project that you've worked over the summer and you have something to talk about other than your class, somewhere where you've applied or done something credible, there's an undergrad UGR program, UGRC or something. It's an undergraduate research program that you can find a mentor. They fund, I think, give you $5,000 for the program throughout the summer. You can work on it. Do things like that, and that'll make your resume a better one. And just focus on certain jobs. Do not go resume drop as many people do. I understand we are all desperate out here for jobs and internships, but do not do that. That does not seem to work and hasn't worked for me in the past few years.
From a graduate perspective, I would say I would start with the career center. They have some really good workshops. I know Ruth, I mean, they keep on organizing a lot of good workshops throughout the year. Especially before the career fair, they have some good writing workshops, resume building workshops, how to pitch yourself sort of workshops. So they have some really, really good workshops throughout the year that are worth attending. The Career Center also does a one-on-one resume critics session wherein you take them, where you take an appointment and go to the Career Center, and they have a professional who sits down with you and builds, sort of goes through your resume and helps you make it more efficient. Generally, before the career fair, it's very difficult to get a slot, like a personal slot. So I would suggest doing this a month or more in advance before the career fair, because you might not get a slot just before it. Other things, writing the resume. One thing I would like to mention, that especially to new students, that here the expectation from grad school is much different from the undergrad students. They want to know more of your practical applications than just your GPA, your what courses you've taken, etc. So if you have any practical experience, like work experience from India, internship experiences in the US, work experience in the US, your research experiences, your class projects, that is all they want to know. Honestly, on a personal experience, while I was applying for a lot of internships, not a single recruiter was interested in my GPA. They were all interested in what I learned through this. It's not about learning. In grad school, they want to see what you learned and how you applied it. They want to see what you've learned at a more undergrad level, but when you are in grad school, they want to see how you applied what you learned. So make sure that you put all the relevant work experience in your resume, and also those 30-40 second talks with the recruiters. When you just go and approach them, make sure this is how you pitch it to them. If you don't, it again depends, on what you have and what you want to focus on. But if you have any sort of work experience, any sort of practical experience, make sure that is what you definitely mention in your talks, in your resume, everywhere in your application, because that's what they want to see. So, yeah.
To begin with, I think it's very important to build your resume like the recruiters wanted. You can go to the career fair and draft your own resume, and then get a career fair person to check it. That's what I had done, and it worked for me. And dress for the occasion, definitely. And you have to be confident enough when you're introducing yourself to the recruiters. And as Anuj and Ikank had already mentioned, you have to do your research on the company and to be very specific about what you want to do, know about the positions that they are offering, and know about the departments that they have, and try and relate your work to those departments, and then tell them specifically what you want to do exactly. For example, my area of interest was in nuclear magnetic resonance and electrical engineering, and I had come to know that Schlumberger has a separate division for NMR logging. So that's what I had told the recruiter when I was talking to the people at the career fair. And he gave me a detailed list of what kinds of work they do in NMR logging, and then he took down my name, and then I had to apply online again, and they called me for an interview. So yeah, that's pretty much it.